Amir Taaki for here to talk about dark wallet.
Yeah, man, wow, this is wicked. Like, so many people here. I remember when it was just in a scummy pub, like 5 of us. And that was less than a year ago. Like, what happened? Yeah, this is cool. And all different projects and people thinking about how to make different technologies. And because the blockchain, the blockchain is not just Bitcoin. In fact, some ways, the blockchain is something deeper than Bitcoin itself. It's a new data structure that we have in computer science, but we still haven't found all the ways that we can apply this new data structure to create new different applications. And there's a lot of very interesting things that is coming out of this, because there was lots of people talking in the 90s about this new technology of crypto and of the internet, and how these tools are going to, transform our lives. And it's really now that we're seeing the application of these things come to fruition. Tools. It's not just about Bitcoin as a payments innovation. Bitcoin is much more. It's something deeper. It's about tools of resource management, tools of organization and collaboration between people, the tools of self-governance, tools of trade and business. These things that we can use to rethink how we can construct the society around us to build systems that work better. We just had to talk about Ethereum. Ethereum, you make a contract, you make an organization, and it manages the resources. And it says, okay, we hire a programmer, we pay out this programmer, we pay for these resources we need to use, we do this, we do that. You have a piece of infrastructure that is not managed by people. And when you join to this organization, it's voluntary. And everything there is written in the code. It does exactly what it says on the tin. There's no lawyer, no legal contract. It's the code. And there's no courts, which is enforced by police with, politics and bureaucrats. This is awesome. And we can create all sorts of things. And in the beginning, of course, these things are going to be used for things that niche, specific applications. But as the technology grows and matures, it's going to displace the parent markets. And Bitcoin is really nice, because if I wanted to do a project in the past, I had to look at what do I want to do as a person, and okay, I can make shares and I can sell shares. I could basically sell yourself out. Or I can look at the guys who have the resources and look, okay, what's the closest, thing to what we want to do, and pick those. Well, with Bitcoin, we don't need to do that. We can just have the people send the money. We can say to the people, look, we want to do this for you, and you, the people. And the people that want to do that can fund it direct to us. There's no need for these bureaucrats and advertisers and so on. It's not needed. And that's why the black market is something that a lot of people try to shy away from when it's used to shame Bitcoiners. Bitcoin is a tool of the black market. So what? They used to call us pirates. They used to call us this and that. But these are words of power. And if you let these words of power shame you or put you in a position where you feel the need to placate, well, then you're never ever going to be able to reclaim your sovereignty or integrity. The thing is Bitcoin has the initiative right now. It's working. It works for me. It works for us. And we don't need to compromise on any of the principles of Bitcoin. Bitcoin will succeed. Satoshi said that Bitcoin is one of these things that will either go to zero or reach, global domination. And as a technology, I don't think Bitcoin is going anywhere. The fundamental idea of cryptocurrency is here to stay. And if there was some fundamental flaw found in Bitcoin tomorrow, so what? We would roll back, however long, fix a problem, and keep going forwards. It's not a showstopper. And yeah, maybe we'd suffer some short-term losses, or the thing is here and there. But as a technology that will, succeed and grow and come to fixate in its fundamental place. The thing is to think about what do we like Bitcoin for? And what are those principles that we want to extend? Like why, what is it about the Bitcoin? For me, there's many wonderful properties about Bitcoin, but the two fundamental things that stem from it is the fact that, between two people, you can transact anonymously with the new technical features coming from Peter Todd, like the stealth addresses and the coin join and also the coin swap. These things basically make Bitcoin an anonymous system. That's awesome. And also the Bitcoin is uncensored. We sometimes say Bitcoin is neutral. Well, that means that it's free to transact between any party equally of your sex, your gender, your race, your class, anything. Anywhere in the world, anybody on their own basis of merit can transact. And I'm not fighting for a world of equality, I'm fighting for justice, that everybody has fair access. That's what's important. That's the only way that we're going to fix these fundamental problems. But saying that Bitcoin is neutral does not mean that technology is neutral. If you read the quotes of the author of Bitcoin, it's very political stuff. The guy is talking about taking down banks, winning a new territory of freedom for several decades. The software is art. I write software, another guy writes software in a different way. It's very much based upon your style or your own vision of how that software will come out, or the vision of the people working on that software. In Ethereum, we have a bunch of, idealistic, motivated people from the open source world, and they're creating a new platform for digital law. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a tool which embodies certain political properties. That's not to say that I'm gonna put myself in any political camp or class. There's too much dogma in the world, and the dogma just holds us back. So does the little boxes that we place ourselves in. The thing to start thinking about is, where do we want to move to, and start to see what the real problems are, rather than sandboxing ourselves and our minds into a specific way of looking at the things. There's many things that we need to start working on now. And there's a lot of groups of people around the world working on these things. Very interesting ideas are happening right now. The CIC in Barcelona is a group of people which has a cooperative. They use the legal structure of a cooperative to create an internal economy that's providing all the basic needs that people need, such as food, education, healthcare, transport, energy, and there's also the projects like the open source ecology in the US. So if you want to build a self-sustainable civilization, like a town or a village, you need a set of 50 basic machines, and these machines usually cost like tens of thousands of euros, a huge amount, a huge maintenance cost. And they're building the plans using open source methodology that anybody can download these plans, build these tools DIY, the things like the tractors, the brick presses, and basic tools of industry that we can use to build the cities. And together with the tools of economy that we can use to acquire the resources, the tools of industry to transform those resources, the tools of technology for governance tools and communication tools, we can make autonomous places where people live and they're free. Land ownership is a big thing, and it's about constructing the places and the markets that we can, because the free market is a very powerful tool, and you can use markets to direct your vision, to make your vision happen. Like when I make open source software, a lot of times I'm thinking, okay, like how do I make this sustainable, or how do I make this grow revenue? Not because I want to buy a mansion or cars, but because I want to make more infrastructure that we can use. The value in our lives comes from the better standard of living with our friends, being able to have more leisure time to live with our kids. Why we have such a huge amount of technology, but people are working longer hours, and they're working for less pay and shittier jobs. It's insane. There is something wrong here. And meanwhile, the police are given more and more powers every day, and massive surveillance operations, dragnet surveillance operations where they're flying drones over entire neighborhoods. Is this to catch terrorists? Who is the real enemy here that they're trying to suppress? You know, it's not a way that we can continue. And really, I think the goal is not to save the world. You know, because some people don't want to be saved. What we have to start to do is to start to think how we can carve out a safe operating space for the future where we as freedom-loving people can survive, thrive, and grow. And okay, taking a step back into more, taking a step back into the more practical things now as well is, yeah, it's an exciting time. There's a lot of really cool software coming about. Like the Pirate Party is one of the things that they like. Their election platform is about having open APIs in government for transparency and digital governance tools. And they want to do a few experiments now in Europe where they deploy these tools in universities and things like the liquid feedback. The thing is, the technology they're pushing is obsolete. And I have a better proposal, which is, let's deploy these tools in real communities where real people live. You know, we're together with the Bitcoin, you know, the new tools, you know, the different contract tools, things like Twister. Twister is a very interesting tool. It's something like I had in my idea to do when I began the dark wallet. And then suddenly the guy came out and he's already been working on it 6 months. And it's a well-known open source developer. He's already been working on it a lot. It's very well engineered. Still a few kinks to iron out here and there. But this is a big puzzle piece that we can use to create like basically a decentralized Silk Road that can't be shut down. And the Silk Road is more than about the drugs. The drugs, okay, it's important because this is something that is like why you have violent drug gangsters for a plant, but you don't have violent drug gangsters with potatoes. Like, we know where the problem comes from, you know. Yeah. Okay. I'll quickly. Okay. About the tools. What is the basic functionality of the Silk Road? Well, it was your identity. It was, you know, ability to negotiate between identities, attaching a reputation to those identities, you know, your wallet, you know, private messages and the escrow and seller pages. We can do all of this now. It just needs people to start working on it, basically. Like with the identities, you can do that using Twister or some other identity scheme, like Namecoin, where you put the identities. With the reputation, you can do that using, you can do that by attaching data to these identities using different distribution network, or you can use like hashtags in a DHT network. You know, seller pages. So with Twister, we can make seller pages that, unlike Tor or Freenet or any of these other technologies, is encrypted and fast and usable. We can have usable crypto products that people can use to access all of this functionality, things like the multi-sig and the escrow, put all of these components together and have them or not anonymous by default. And the thing is that if we start the efforts now to like start creating these tools, we like put the flag in the sand and say like, no, this is our point, our stand, you know, for our sovereignty, and we start to invest resources to create an economy that is based off of, you know, the principles of openness, you know, free market, freedom for any person to transact, not, you know, without censorship, as opposed to developing tools to censor people, to track people, to surveil people. You know, then we can push for a better markets where anybody can participate. And yeah, I had something else, but. Yeah, I'll ask some questions. maybe it was a bit too woo-wah political, but I couldn't talk more technical and grounded. Yeah.
Tell us about the dark wallet.
Yeah. Okay. About the dark wallet. The dark wallet it starts with a very simple premise right now, which is that we want a Bitcoin wallet which is anonymous. We have to make it, but basically, okay. There's a lot of wallet developers right now. All of the wallet developers are talking about how can we make Bitcoin easy for grandma to use. I have no problem with that. That's cool, but we're different. We're thinking more along the lines that all of this functionality inside Bitcoin, how can we make that usable for people? How can we make tools for the young entrepreneurs and businessmen of the future? And it's a stepping stone to more bigger things. Like I was talking about the resource management, the tools of governance, because these are tools that we need. Like I live in communities. I'm involved in different projects around Europe and other countries. And these are tools that we need. And we believe that the tools that we make for ourselves is useful for everybody else as well.
Actually, I think you sold me my first Bitcoins. So my question is simple. Do you want a beer?
I'm actually really hungry if you want to buy me some food, like a sausage or something. Yeah, we can. Thank you. What's your name? Kevin. Kevin's going to buy me a lunch. Yeah, me and Vitalik are good friends, and I actually was going to the Mastercoin, people working on Mastercoin, and telling them they should work for Ethereum, and some of them have quit. So, yeah.
Likewise, you sold me my first Bitcoin, so thank you.
Yeah, it was a good run while it lasted, but man, I still get emails every day, even though it's been closed down for 2.5 years. Like, it's insane. Like,
How does it feel to be the most anonymous member of an anonymous community?
I don't know. Yeah, how does it feel to be the most unanonymous person in an anonymous community? Like, I don't know. I sometimes feel a bit like the guy who's talking about anonymity, but then it's like, I don't know how to explain. Yeah?
You got any projects for Latin America? Any plans?
Yeah, actually, okay, so people were talking about making these regulation zones. Actually, Michael Parsons has been working on that a long time. Yeah, there's Michael. And Bob, and this is Bob. He's going to talk in a second. And this is interesting because rather than going to the countries and saying okay, we want to operate in this jurisdiction, we can use all of these offshore places to get rid of the restrictions on Bitcoin and make a freer economy where businesses can participate. That's the right way to do it. You talk to the government, but from a position of power. This is what we are. This is what we're about. This is what we're doing. And one of the things, Iceland. I don't know if you know about the IMI. Iceland, a while back, they had the thing where they said fuck off to the banks, and then the banks served an injunction against the biggest TV station that they weren't allowed to report on what was happening. So the TV station just broadcast WikiLeaks.org on the TV. So then after that incident, they started to look at all of the tax havens around the world to create a free speech haven. And Iceland was on the top of the Press Freedom Index for a few years, many years. And the thing is to look in Iceland, maybe it's possible to extend this free speech haven to an information haven. And to think about Bitcoin is information. So you can create a haven for Bitcoin. And there's already a lot of businesses and techie people operating out of Iceland. Also, the president of Ecuador is very interested in Bitcoin. But the thing is with Ecuador, is I find it a bit difficult how to explain Bitcoin and how it will benefit Ecuador in a country which is farmers, basically. And Iran is something I'm really interested in. because there is many uses for Bitcoin in Iran. In Iran, because of the sanctions, people don't have access to basic financial services like money lending, money borrowing. They don't have access to buying domain names and web services, all stuff you can do with Bitcoin. So people can use it to circumvent sanctions. People can use it to send, because Iran has one of the highest rates of brain drain in the world. So people can use it to send money back home. People can use it to get around government censorship of payments. You know, people started to use the rial to buy censored media on the internet, so they just banned credit card payments. And people were rushing to put their money into foreign currency, so the government banned Forex. People can use the Bitcoin to hedge in dollars. And there's many uses for Bitcoin in Iran. But the thing is, yeah, Iran might be a bit tricky to push Bitcoin. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, one more. Who's got the most worthwhile question? Go on, volunteer. No, that's it? Yeah. Yeah, because in the beginning I had this idea that I can give a few basic tools to web developers to access a lot of this crypto functionality in Bitcoin. Like imagine you have widgets like you can put on your web page, and you can create all kinds of like different web services based around making cooperative funds or making different kinds of crypto things. Imagine just logging in using your Bitcoin wallet without needing a username and a password.
Huge implications on Bitcoin adoption if you integrate it into the web browser, because then you've got a huge use.
Yeah, there is that. There are a lot of people have the Bitcoin right there. Yeah, basically Bitcoin is built for the internet but not for the web. I think there's a lot of things that can be explored further down this avenue, so that's where I'm exploring. No, I just talk to other techies from Bitcoin, really, and maybe WikiLeaks and other people like that. Yeah, I know some of the Tor people. Yeah, they're a bit. Oh, da 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 da. But okay, yeah, it's all right.
And thank you, Amir.